Installment of Breakfast with the Board. I am Lauren Bailey, your membership coordinator, and I'm going to talk a little bit this morning about how I found NWMAF, why it's important to me, and the value of the three pillars of the Federation, which are martial arts, self-defense, specifically empowerment, self-defense, and healing arts. So first of all, if you watched Lindsay Ross's video last week, you know a little bit about my story because Lindsay and I started martial arts together and joined the Federation together. But Lindsay and I's paths were a little different. So while Lindsay was a domestic violence survivor, I was kind of at the mercy of my own mind. No one really was bullying me. It was all a lifelong battle with self-hatred. I was always the smart kid in my class, so I had 100% confidence in my intellectual ability and no confidence in my body. I grew up in the 80s and 90s when, the ideal of female beauty was the Victoria's Secret angels, with their ribs popping out on TV and in magazines. And, I'm built just like my Sicilian father. I'm short. I've got broad shoulders, kind of a big butt. I'm athletic. And I looked at myself and I looked at, some of my other, beautiful, thin, willowy girlfriends and these images on TV and in magazines. And all I knew is that I didn't measure up. I also have scoliosis. And, while I didn't really know much about that when I was a kid, I understand it more now. And basically, I never saw myself as someone who was strong. I had a childhood where things were very chaotic, and I felt like I had very little control in my life. And so as a response to that, I developed an eating disorder because what I put in my mouth and how many hours a day I exercised was something that I could control. So fast forward to my early 30s, after 2.5 decades of self-hatred and just constantly sending myself messages that I was weak, my body was my enemy, I would never be strong, I had 2 little kids and I was living in downtown, and my husband traveled every week for his job, and I was a freelance editor at the time, and I would just stay up working until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because I was scared to go to bed, because as soon as I went to bed, my brain would start going, these tiny babies can't rely on you. If something ever happened, whether the house caught on fire or somebody broke in, you would freeze. You're weak and you can't protect them. And so after many months of that negative self-talk, I have a distinct memory of sitting up in bed and being like, F this, I'm going to do something about it. And so some friends of mine their church group was having a little private lesson with a local dojo, a women's self-defense class. And at the last minute, as happens with busy moms on a frigid night in February, they needed at least 10 people to be there and somebody else backed out. So my friend reached out to me and some others and was like, hey, can anybody fill this spot? And it was like $10 for a 3-hour seminar. And I was like, this is something I've always wanted to do. It's not going to get any easier than this. It's $10. I'm going. And I went. And I have a couple of memories from that first night. I remember the female instructor saying that these are perishable skills and that you have to keep practicing them to be good at them. And I remember saying that first night walking on the mat would be the hardest night I ever encountered. I'm not a competitive person, but I'm competitive against myself. And, she just taught us some simple strikes and wrist releases, and my mind was blown. And I was like, I have to know all these things. For the first time in my life, I felt strong and capable. And so on my way out the door that night, I said, can I do this again? Does this group meet regularly? And she was like, well, we don't have women's self-defense regularly, but we have combat Hapkido. And I was like, okay, I can't start right now, but I'll contact you in a couple months and sign me up. And so I started taking Hapkido at this tiny little dojo in Western Kentucky with a husband and wife team. And like 2 weeks later, Lindsay walked in the door. And so that's that chapter of the story. And if you didn't get a chance to watch Lindsay's video, go back to last Friday and catch that, because it's super heartfelt. And I also remember, since she told stories of her first meeting me, I'll tell one of first meeting her. So, because we were the only 2 women in the class, we got partnered together. And the first time we were like holding pads for each other, she hit so hard. She hit so hard that I went home to my husband and I was like, there's a new girl and she hits really hard and I'll never be as good as her. And she scares me a little bit and I don't know if I can do this. And, after I had my good insecure cry about it, I showed up the next week, Lindsay was there, and like in a month we were best friends and have been ever since. So while we were taking Hapkido, we were desperately looking for a mentor. We knew that there had to be more out there. We really wanted to learn how to teach self-defense after going to a couple of the little self-defense sessions that our instructors taught that were really good, just like basic physical techniques and awareness. And, we were like, oh, we want to do that. But there really wasn't much of an opportunity in our dojo for us to learn to be self-defense instructors. There was like one other woman, our friend Holly, who was in the Taekwondo class, and we just felt really alone, and as I'm sure all of you who are martial arts practitioners know, the world of martial arts is full of a lot of dudes, and I thought there has to be something else out there. So I went on my computer and I Googled women's martial arts, and up popped the Federation, and it was this sort of outdated website, but the pictures on it were really cool. And P.S. we're updating that website right now. Your board is working hard on that. But anyway, even though it wasn't the slickest, shiniest organization on the internet, I was so thrilled to see picture after picture after picture of women in martial arts, all kinds of women, young women, old women, women in wheelchairs, it was awesome. And so, I saw that they had a conference and I told Lindsay about it. And, we weren't sure if we wanted to commit to the whole thing because we didn't really know who these people were. But there was Super Saturday. And so we were like, okay, we can drive to, it was in Naperville that year. We can drive to Illinois. It's like 5 hours away. We'll give it one day a try. And just see what we think, see if this is a group that we want to belong to. And we went to Super Saturday, and our first class was judo with Nikki Smith, and we stepped on the mat. Neither of us had any grappling skills. I was a Hapkido girl, and Lindsay did Hapkido and Taekwondo. So we were like, okay, this is a brave new world, but we're going to give it a try. And it was just the most wonderful environment of hey, you can try this. Hey, I just want to share what I know. Hey, there's no judgment here. Hey, look at all these strong women. And from minute one, we just knew that this was what we had been looking for. A friend of ours the other day said it's the closest thing to Themyscira that you could hope to find. It's like Wonder Woman in the Amazons, just learning and having fun and empowering each other and building each other up. And that was exactly what we needed. And while we were there, we came across this amazing thing called empowerment self-defense, which for those of you who've never heard of ESD before, it's different from traditional self-defense classes like you might be taught by a police department or from a male-run dojo, because it focuses just as much on the mental and emotional aspects of self-defense as it does on the physical ones. Absolutely, you're going to hit a pad. Absolutely, you're going to kick. You're going to get those practical physical techniques that make you feel strong and empowered. Because hey, the sound of hitting a pad is like it's a game changer for everybody. But a lot of times before you can ever get to that pad, you need to be able to say no for yourself. You need to be able to set some boundaries. You need to be able to, recognize when people in your life, especially close people, your friends, your family are, manipulating you, gaslighting you, ignoring your boundaries, those kinds of things. And so, and just that core belief of knowing that you are worth fighting for, that you have everything you need right now to defend yourself. It's all inside of you. You just need a guide to show you what you already have. And that's sort of revolutionary, to have that base idea that women are strong and capable. And that even if you have already experienced violence, like there is no shame or blame. You are alive today. Whatever you did in that moment, you did your very best, and we're proud of you, and we're here to support you. Whether you're in the prevention stage, the action stage, or the healing stage. You've got this whole community that loves and supports you and wants to help you get back to your whole empowered self. And, that's a gift, I felt like a gift having that information given to me. And after, Lindsay and I went to full camp the following year, we just looked at each other and we were like, we can't sit in our regular lives and do nothing. We've been given something amazing, and now we have a responsibility to pay it forward and to share, what we've learned in martial arts, what we've learned in empowerment self-defense with, everyone that we possibly can. And then, interestingly enough, we've had a lot of conversations on the board about how martial arts, self-defense, and healing arts are so intertwined. You really can't talk about martial arts without talking about mindfulness and meditation and flexibility and all these things that we often associate with the healing arts. And then, once you get into self-defense instructor work, and you start to learn about, trauma, and you want your class to be trauma informed and sensitive and, applicable to all these different populations, you can't do that without beginning a journey of learning into movement arts and healing modalities and wilderness therapy and trauma yoga. And, it's like the whole mind-body connection, which gets severed in situations of trauma, when the mind and body disassociate from one another. The reassociation of your mind and your body, your confidence in your mind to recognize warning signs, to react in the moment or be proactive, and then to trust your body to do what you needed to do to, defend you in the best possible way, and then to protect you, in whatever form that takes. I mean, especially for women and also our non-binary and non-conforming friends, to have that wholeness, to recognize that wholeness is radical. And the Federation has a long history, nearly half a century now, of being at the forefront, of these, sort of radical ideas, transformative really at their core, to connect the mind and the body, to recognize the strength in martial arts, self-defense, and healing arts, and to bring them together. And I don't think people really understand how holistic the National Women's Martial Arts Federation is. I mean, you can be pure martial arts artist, have no desire to teach self-defense, not really be interested in the healing arts outside of, maybe what you do to, prepare and cool down from your martial arts training sessions. Or you can be a pure self-defense instructor. You can be a pure healing arts instructor. But no matter what, this is the community. Everyone is accepted. Everyone is recognized for what they have to offer. If you are open to learning these other things, you can see how they all overlap. And I just think that is, like so valuable. It was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what Lindsay needed. And, it's really the board's mission right now to bring the Federation, into the next era of, being leaders, thought leaders, action leaders, activist leaders, advocate leaders, and sort of working together to channel the power that we all have to make a difference, for ourselves and our own lives, for healing and wholeness, and then also in our communities. And I can't think of anything more exciting to be a part of. And if you're a member or an ally already, you understand that. If you're a friend or an ally who hasn't had an experience with the Federation yet, I encourage you. We're not quite sure what shape the conference is going to take just yet. I know Natalie, our events coordinator, is sending out a survey to see how comfortable people might be to come to the conference this year, in person, or if people are going to prefer virtual training again this year or what. I'm not quite sure what shape that's going to take. We'll know and be able to communicate to you soon. But whatever shape it does take, we hope that you will participate in some way. If you're a trainer, instructor, please apply to teach. We are always looking for a diversity of instructors, experiences, arts, forms, modalities. And if you're a brand new shiny white belt, we don't care. Come and learn and just be supported. And, one other support aspect of this that I would be tremendously remiss not to mention is a couple years ago. So Lindsay and I teach empowerment self-defense now. We have a business called Thrive Empowerment Center located in Northern Kentucky. We service the greater Cincinnati area. And, a couple years ago, the last time we were able to go to the in-person conference, Thrive was just a dream in our heads. We got some custom chucks with Thrive down the back, like because we love Converse All Stars. It was a pair of chucks and a dream, I always say. And we were still like waiting for permission from someone to like go out and teach and share what we knew. And so when we came to the conference, like I said, it was just this dream, and we were really nervous about telling people what we wanted because, we were sort of expecting that, like, oh, well, who the hell do you think you are? What are your credentials? You're destined to fail. Like, we were just expecting a ton of negativity. And so, friends that we already had in the Federation, brand new people that we sat down with at lunch, they would be like, so, how's your training going? What are you working on now? And we'd be like, training's going great. We're white belts in jiu-jitsu, color belts in our other arts. We're progressing, and also, we kind of think we want to teach empowerment self-defense in Cincinnati. We like barely whispered it out to the universe. And overwhelmingly, everyone was like, that's amazing. How can we help you? Yeah, that sounds great. And we were like, and we want to incorporate some therapeutic programming for people who've already experienced violence. And they're like, brilliant. That, have you taken this class? Have you talked to this person? Are you going to be a business or a nonprofit? Oh, talk to Meg Stone about grants. Talk to, Diane Long about human trafficking. Talk to, it was just like this amazing, network of mentorship and cheerleaders and people who are just generously like, what is it that you want to do to make your community a better place? What can we do to help you? Oh, here's a link to a Google Drive with all our curriculum on it. Take whatever you want and, make it your own. And, we were like, we left the conference that year being like, yeah, of course we're going to start Thrive. Of course we are. We had just been so like energized by the positivity and support of everybody in the Federation. When we got home, we decided to sign up for the Level 1 Empowerment Self-Defense Global Training, which we caught in Nashville right before the pandemic. So we did that and, tapped into the ESD Global Network. We're working on wrapping up our Level 1 certification for them. We're applying for certification through the National Women's Martial Arts Federation because it is a certifying body as well for experienced instructors. Every day, if we call on anyone from the Federation, any of the people that we've met, the response is always, what do you need? How can I help? Do you want to hop on a phone call and talk this through? Oh, you need a curriculum for trans friends. Oh, you need a curriculum for Spanish speaking friends. Oh, you need a curriculum for high school girls. There are amazing mentors who have been blazing this trail of empowerment self-defense for decades. There are friends there who have been teaching empowerment self longer than I've been alive. And, just like the continued generosity and support and mentorship is mind-blowing. So, as you can see, I can talk about this for the rest of my life and will. But I just wanted to share with you why this is important to me. To invite you, whether you're a martial artist, a self-defense practitioner, a healing artist, or an aspiring one of any of those. It doesn't matter. When Lindsay and I joined the Federation, we were not black belts. We both have a black belt in one art now, but we were just a year into our training. No matter what your experience level is, no matter what art or modality you practice, you are welcome here. And the board has also been doing a lot of work to make our language more inclusive. So we joke that we're the National Women's Martial Arts Federation, but we actually, none of those things apply restrictively anymore. We are international. We are not only for women, but we're gender inclusive. We welcome trans friends, gender non-binary, gender non-conforming, whatever. This is a safe space. It's female-led, but it's a safe space for anyone who recognizes themselves and our mission. And we are so much more than martial arts. Martial arts was the gateway for me, and I am a martial artist, and I will be a martial artist for the rest of my life. But I am also now a self-defense instructor. I am also now learning to be a healing arts practitioner. So, no matter who you are, we welcome you into our community, and we hope to see you at the conference. So have a fantastic Friday. You'll hear from another board member soon. If you have any questions, I wasn't watching the comments as I was talking because I just went off on my tangent, as I am wont to do. But I'll circle back and answer any questions that you have. You can also email me at members@nwmaf.org. I am the membership coordinator. If you have any questions about the benefits of being a member of the Federation, any questions about the conference, any questions about anything at all, I will get back to you as soon as I can, and I look forward to hearing from you. So much love to you all. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for sharing breakfast with me. Have a great one. Bye.